decided to use the question, what can I do to encourage students to become more open to different languages, cultures, traditions, and people? For me, I mostly focused on the languages since that's what my project was about, but when you're learning a foreign language, a lot of the time, you can't really skip over the cultures and traditions and the people of the language that you're learning. It's not that easy to do because there's words that might not translate into English that mean something special to those people. So this is my big question because in today's world, we're basically required to become a global citizen. And by learning a second language, or even a third, you are doing that way better than people who decide not to learn a second language or aren't interested in it. So, one of my slides was why learn another language, and on this slide I included some statistics. 19 million Americans and billions of people abroad aren't proficient in English. And I also included some interesting little facts that might inspire students to learn a second language. So a lot of people didn't know that traveling internationally is going to be really stressful because you can actually speak the language and that your skills and understanding of your native language actually go way up. And also, if you speak two or more languages, it improves your chances of being hired, especially in most professions like government, medicine, law, business, marketing, and also teaching. A lot of people don't know that there's a shortage of foreign language teachers, and a lot of students actually seem really interested in that fact. And I also told students to think of it this way. If you speak English, you can speak to roughly 942 million people around the world. That's already a lot of people, but if you add in 229 million more people, that's German, then think of all of the people you can speak to. That's a lot of people, like way more than you could already speak to. And if you can speak a second language, then when you're visiting a country, you can easily ask for directions. You can just talk to the locals and get to know more about where you're visiting. And you could even make friends or fall in love, because when you learn a second language, the possibilities are endless. Okay, so, important moments. So I use more than just these two articles, but for these two are my favorite personally. They both covered a lot of what's lacking here in America with our foreign language skills. So they were both full of important information and statistics that helped my project, but were also very interesting in general to me. So something I found interesting, which I didn't actually know, is that foreign language acquisition in public elementary schools has actually decreased a ton, 24% to 15% between 1997 and 2008. And it's kind of the same for middle schools because they've dropped from 75% to 58% since then. High schools, they've stayed about the same, hovering around 91%, although you think that would have gone up because most schools in the United States actually require students to learn at least 2 years of a foreign language, like here at Mount Pleasant. And the one that really surprised me was only 7% of college students are actually taking a foreign language class, and about half of those students are only doing it because their college requires them to. And in 2010, only 18% of Americans reported actually being fluent in a second language other than English. And 53% of Europeans are fluent in a language other than their native language. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but that's a really sad statistic. And I think that as Americans, we should be much more interested in learning foreign languages because we have so many immigrants and our world is so connected because of the internet. Although the reason Europeans are more fluent in languages than we are is actually because by the time they are in first or second grade, they're usually required to start learning a second language, which is typically English. And by the time they reach high school, they're usually required to start learning a third language. Okay, so the community. I apologize for the not prettiest pictures in the world, but I decided to focus on our school right here at PHS. As a foreign language student, I've had a lot of issues over the past 4 years because our school has such a small foreign language program. I know there are others who feel the same, so I want to help future students be able to easily find the resources they need to study any language they please, whether it be here, or at CMU or MID, or on their own. So, I had all of the students I presented to take a survey following the presentation. The language department, I will use the data collected and give it to the foreign language department at our school, and hopefully will help shape the future of our foreign language program. And in total, I gave 8 presentations. All of them went really smoothly, and I was actually asked quite a few questions by students and teachers, which surprised me. I even had a couple of students stop me in the hallway after presentations to ask questions, and I got like super excited about it. So that was actually pretty cool. Okay, and lastly, my survey actually had more questions than this, but these were 4 of the main ones. And I was kind of surprised by the answers that I got because I didn't think they were going to be so positive, honestly. I thought most people were going to be like, I don't really care about foreign language, so they wouldn't fill it out. But I actually ended up getting 81 responses, and I presented to over over 100 students. So overall, I had the opportunity to delve way deeper into my research than I already had because this is something I'm so interested in. And I got to share my passion with over 100 students at our school. And I don't know, I just thought it was a pretty great opportunity to be able to share something that I love so much. And it's something that a lot of people don't think about, especially here in America. So some of my questions were, what foreign language class have you taken or are you planning to take? And I actually have the most French, which surprised me. I thought it was going to be Spanish. Would you consider going on any of the exchanges listed below? My last slide of my presentation included 4 different exchange programs. 3 of them were local ones, and then the last one was actually a website where you could find pretty much any website or any kind of study abroad thing on that website. It was really cool. And most of the kids were interested in them, and then there was actually about half of them who weren't really interested, which surprised me a lot because I've always wanted to go abroad. And then also I decided to ask them if they were interested in AP foreign language classes or if they would ever consider dual enrolling at CMU or MID. And I was honestly pretty surprised by the response. There were quite a few kids who said that they would like to dual enroll, which a lot of kids didn't even know you could dual enroll in foreign language when I started my presentation. And for foreign languages, for AP foreign languages, that's kind of what I expected. There's more kids who didn't know than I thought, because usually if you're thinking, oh, AP class, do I want to take something really hard, or do I just want to go with the average class? So yeah, that was what I did for my senior project. I had a lot of fun with it, and I got to learn a lot of really cool things that I didn't think I would get to learn ever. So yeah.